entrepreneurs are good and employees are bad. I think that is wrong. I think the goal is financial freedom. I want people to hear it's okay to be an employee as long as it's a tool to produce excess capital so that you can invest and become financially free in a decade. What is an entrepreneur versus what is an employee? Is one better than the other? This is something I am thinking a lot about because as I interact with more and more successful folks, I think there are some people that are just natural entrepreneurs. And I think there are folks that are naturally employees. I think there is this aura on social media that entrepreneurs are good and employees are bad. I think that is wrong. I think the goal is financial freedom. I think financial freedom could be done via either path. The idea is to do what you do to make income, live below your means so you can stack paper, take that paper, buy assets, and in a decade, be financially free. I wanted to have this conversation with someone that I deem, maybe right, maybe wrong, as a natural born entrepreneur, the one and only Adrian Hernandez. How you doing, sir?
Well, I appreciate that, Zuber. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I got scars to prove it.
You got some. So let me just start this off. When I think about our conversations, how you roll, how you vibrate, I'm going to call you a naturally born entrepreneur. You can fully disagree with me if you would like. But what do you think? Do you think you were just born to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think most definitely. I when I want to say, when did we move into that house? I want to be 6, 7 years old. I remember, and this is, before I really even knew what a job was, but I remember because of the scar, my parents always remind me. But I had a wagon that I used to tie to my bike, and I would ride the wagon up and down the streets when I lived in LA before we moved to the Inland Empire. And I remember that all the kids would always come out. This is when kids actually played outside, guys. I don't know if you remember that, but kids used to actually play outside.
We did. We used to drink from a water hose too.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. We all survived too. So I used to hook my wagon to the bike, and one day my cousin is there, and I'm like, dude, let's put a little sign, 25 cents a ride. Let's put it on the back of the bike, and I'll give kids rides up and down the block. So I'm cutting the box, and I'm using a box cutter. Mind you guys, I'm like 7 years old at this time, right? I know I'm under 9 because we moved when I was 9, so I was within that age. I'm using a box cutter, and the box cutter slips and gets me right there.
Oh, yeah.
Gets me right there. Now, mind you, you guys, if this is, you cut this the wrong way.
There's a lot of veins right there.
Yeah, exactly. So long story short, that was my first entrepreneur spirit. So I think it was definitely born in me. Yeah.
And again, I think Alex Hormozy, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, all of these folks, Ryan Pineda, someone we both know, they just ooze entrepreneurship. They make it sexy. And my words, not theirs, and certainly not yours. They kind of poo-poo employees.
Yeah.
They talk down. And here's the deal. I am not an entrepreneur. I'm a great employee. I loved getting a comp plan. I loved understanding the goal and exceeding the goal and making just outsized returns. And I think there's a lot of people that need to hear it's okay to be an employee, right? Use your job to produce income and, live below your means so you can have paper, right? The goal of an entrepreneur, like Grant Cardone talks all the time, is he's going to go out and sell the world. He's going to make a lot of cash. And he's going to become cash broke because he stacks paper and assets. Same with Ryan. Same with Gary, except he's buying businesses and he wants to buy the Smurfs or, whatever, so he can just take his brand and go forward. I want people to hear it's okay to be an employee as long as it's a tool to produce excess capital so that you can invest and become financially free in a decade. What do you think of all that?
Couldn't agree more. I cannot agree more. And I also believe that there's nothing wrong with being an employee, right? There's nothing wrong with being an employee. And I believe that there are also entrepreneurs that necessarily aren't fully entrepreneurs, that don't go out and, they're not necessarily like these crazy entrepreneurs that we hear about, right? Like, for instance, Alex Hormozy, right? But they're entrepreneurs. They're they take their job and they invest it, right, like you have, into real estate, and they create different, they put their money in the assets and create different flows of money, right? I don't think that there's a right or wrong to any of that. I believe that there is, you got to know who to hire and who not to hire once you actually have an organization, and that's really important. But getting to where we're going, to where everyone's going, I don't think there's a problem.
Right. So I think the goal, if you're going to be an employee or an entrepreneur, is, in my world, it's to me, the goal at the end of the day is to be financially free,
Right.
not sell your hours of your life.
100%.
Right. Not have to sell hours of your life. If you choose to, that's on you. I don't care what vehicle you take, right? Either one. There is a lot of sexiness around entrepreneurs. There's lots of books about it. There's lots of this. There's very little discussion about, you know what? It's okay to be a good employee. Show up, do your 40 hours. And here's the deal. In today's environment, let's just get this on the table. If I was 20 years old today and starting over, I would do the exact same career path with one twist. I would document my story via social media, and that side hustle would grow over the years, and it would accelerate me earning financial freedom. I could do it in half the time that it took me starting at 30. So
Yep.
I think it's totally, and again, I don't know about you, but when I talk to my entrepreneur friends like you, and I remember being an employee, and again, I haven't been an employee for 6 years, so maybe some of the crap I've forgotten about. But I didn't work as much. Entrepreneurs, you fucking working all the time.
All the time.
Right? I was an employee. Yeah, I worked hard, 60 hours, 62, 64. I got paid for vacations. I got health insurance. I got a 401k match. I got all this extra stuff. Second, I had a commission-based sales job where I could be fired every 90 days. And I guarantee you I was less stressed than most entrepreneurs.
Right. Most definitely. You know what's funny? I'm blanking on the name. UFC. Dana White. Dana White put out a video the other day. He goes, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but do you even know what an entrepreneur is? Like,
no Christmas, no Thanksgiving.
No holidays for the most part when you're first starting off. Like, most of us don't understand this. And here, I'm so glad you're bringing this up, Zuber, because here is the problem with society today, is that everybody wants to be entrepreneurs and they're not. Some of you are employees and you need to embrace that. There's nothing wrong with that. Social media has made it wrong that you have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be anything. Be you. And a lot of you are employees. There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly what I'm trying to say. There is nothing wrong with being a full-time employee. Here's the deal. I believe it is far easier for most people to bust their ass at a 40-hour-a-week job. And I'm saying job on purpose.
Right.
Save some money, change jobs every couple of years. Cause if you don't know, you make money when you change jobs.
Right.
Take that paper, stick it on the bottom line, go buy assets. In a decade, you have choices. Most entrepreneurs that get in the game are going to fail 3, 4, 5 times before they figure out what they figure out. Yep. An employee who does this right could be done in a decade. And if they're not done in a decade, they're well on their path.
Yep.
It is totally okay to be an employee. It is totally okay to hate your job and be an employee. Look at your job as a freaking tool.
Most definitely. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. And eliminate the news, guys. Eliminate the noise. Eliminate all that, what you have to be or don't have to be. Like, this is the biggest problem we find because we do a lot of hiring, right? And this is the biggest issue we come across. And then also to those of you that are listening that are younger, understand that nothing comes in life without you putting in hard work. It is not going to, do not expect to work 2 to 3 days a week and get paid $1 million a year. Like, release that. I don't know where this thought came from, Zuber, but it's crazy. It is absurd. The entitlement of what they think they should be earning by X amount of time. Like, I've been doing this for 11 years. Like, I didn't make $1 million till my 8th year in the game. Like, it takes a long time, and I was broke a lot of that time. Like, you guys not understand that? Like, there's a process. A lot of us wants it to happen like tomorrow, and that's not the way it goes.
Yeah, it is. It's okay to be an employee. But here's the deal. You know what? I'll say it this way. It's okay to be an employee or an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You do you.
Right.
What you need to have is a 10-year path. If you do something with and you get 1% better and you do this, and in 10 years, you will be a long way. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade.
Most definitely.
Folks, getting wealthy, earning financial freedom or getting really close is possible as an employee or an entrepreneur. Do what's right for you. Adrian, you couldn't be an employee. You were telling me off camera, you tried to be an employee 21 times and it didn't work.
Didn't work. No, I could not take order very well. And not only that, I was really good at getting jobs. So that's another reason why, like, I just knew I don't mean to say this arrogantly, but like, if I can go into any job and get a job, like, there's probably something wrong with anyways. So I would get a job, and then I'd get super bored. And then I remember it was a shopping center. I worked at every single store in that shopping center because I would get bored, go next door, build such a great relationship with the guy next door. Right. And then I'd be like, hey, I'm thinking about quitting over there. Oh, you want to get hired? Yeah, perfect. And then I would go there last 2 months and I'd go to the next spot. I only think I got fired once or twice. And I think I got fired twice. And that was because I was on on their Craigslist posting ads, because I used to sell little LED lights for the cars. We would import them from China. I would pay like $20 for 100 of them, and now sell a pair for $20, right? So I would make ads on Craigslist and post them. So I would go use their computers to do it, and I remember I got fired twice for using their company's computers.
In-house computers, yeah, that's crazy.
For doing my little side hustle.
You are an entrepreneur. I was an employee. Both are okay, but again, we both have a plan, a vision for financial freedom. You stack paper one way, I did it the other. It's totally that's what I want people to hear. I think employees get a bad rap. It is okay, but use it as a tool. Use it as a tool to get what you want.
Couldn't agree more.
Where can people find you?
Hit me up, guys, at Adrian Hernandez. Let's go.
Thank you, buddy.